Hello everybody. Nice view of all my junk here. Here's what we got going on. So this bike is that 450 that we traded for the John boat that needed a top end, which is not true at all. I explained that in another video. Motor's junk. Been struggling to find one. I really thought it'd be easier to find one, you know, figured come across a couple wreck bikes or something, or people parting stuff out or whatever else, and turns out that it's trickier said than done. But I'd like to still tear it apart, go through the bearings, go through everything, get it back together if I can find a motor, and make it complete again, and either keep it and ride it or sell it and whatever. Went down to a Winter Series hair scramble a couple weeks back, and now my 250 is in the same boat. Was running second, catching the leader, going real good actually, like really good. It felt good, bike was good, and until it wasn't. And I'm currently putting brakes on this. The fronts are done, I still got to do the rear. Sorry about the mess. But yeah, this is what we found. Piston is in pieces. Those are the rings. I don't know if they're focusing. You can see it, but that's the head, all mangled. Valves junk. Cylinder, as you can see, is completely junk. The yeah, cams, everything. I'm afraid, judging by how beat up this crank and everything is down in there, I mean, I gotta split it anyways regardless, just to, whether it's good or bad, I still gotta split it to get all the pieces and parts and everything out of there and put all new bearings in it and everything, make sure nothing got stuck. But anyways, same thing, struggling to find a motor for it too. But I've got a couple people I'm talking to about it. The problem with it is, I shouldn't say that I can't find a motor. The problem is everybody wants $1,000 for just the motor. Where if you scroll down a little further on Marketplace, you can buy a whole nother running bike for $1,000. Really don't want to. I'd rather spend, you know, somewhere between the $300 to $500 range and just put these bikes back together, because there's really no sense in getting a whole nother bike. But I don't know. Either way, I'd like to tear them apart, go through the bearings, go through everything. I would just feel better about it and have more ambition about it if I had motors, or one lined up anyway. But, and then another thought was try to find motors for both of them and sell them as a pair and take that money and buy a newer bike. Maybe something not yellow, because apparently Suzuki's letting me down. I'm a diehard Suzuki guy, but after these two situations, I'm not so sure. But anyways, gonna finish up the brakes on this and get it out of the way. I gotta do some cleaning here. Things are scattered everywhere. All this junk was in my trailer for winter storage along with the bikes, but a buddy of mine borrowed the trailer to go racing last weekend, and I took it all out for him. So yeah, anyways, just got the heater fired up and letting her warm up out here, do a little bit of cleaning and get tearing into stuff. Alright, well, what I've done this far is I took the chain off and loosened up the chain tensioners. axle nut off of here, which for some reason isn't coming off very easy. But who knows? I don't really like doing this kind of stuff when the bike's so dirty. But seeing that my hose is all froze up and I didn't get it washed or drained, it's not going to do us much good. That axle is coming out of there extremely hard. Huh, that hasn't been out in a while, must be. Interesting. Might need to get a punch and a steel hammer. Too big. Yeah, that'll mushroom the end of that probably. Put this back on there ways. Want to show. Worry about it too much, I guess. God, I hate to do that. I gotta find something smaller so I don't ruin them threads. Well, I got this Harbor Freight extension. That's not working very great. Man. I can't believe that's coming out of there so hard. Well, after finding a longer bolt to use as a punch and quite a few cuss words later, I got it up. Now this is gonna fight with me. Shouldn't have to take that all off of there, but maybe. I don't know. I've never done this before. We're learning together. There she goes. Those bearings have seen better days, that's for sure. This side's pretty rough too. Guess I better order some of them. Axle will be a lot easier to take out next time though. Alright, now I need a little screwdriver. And I fought like hell with the front one to get this wishbone out, and come to find out it's not even that difficult. Just kind of pop that over to the side there. Stab myself in the hand like I did the front one. That wishbone pops out. And then work that brake shoe off and this brake shoe off. And like the front one, it needs a good cleaning. Those are supposed to pivot on there freely, which as you can see, they don't. Because it's all crusty and probably hasn't been apart in quite a few years. But I'll find a wire wheel or something and be back shortly. This will be a lot easier in the vise. Probably going to tear my hand up doing this. That should be decent. Now, ugh. The camera battery died, so I'm not exactly sure where we left off. I didn't check it, but these have to go on there like so. What is that? It doesn't spin very, or turn very freely, does it? I'll have to put it together and figure it out, I guess. And then this guy, there's a little groove in that pin right there that sits in. And then you can put the one side down in there, I believe. Like I said, learning with you. That side comes over here. I have a feeling that's going to hurt. Oh, so close. There she is. That side's in. We're still on our groove up here. Kind of looks like, well, maybe not. Alright, there. New shoes installed. But it looks like this thing needs to come back a little bit. So it can come back or rotate back further. And then we can always adjust that once it's together. A little more. It's probably been adjusted all the way up, so what was left of the brakes could grab a little bit, because there was nothing left on those old shoes. So that would make sense. That should work. Now I'm assuming, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with these little bikes and drum brakes, but I'm assuming when you adjust the chain, you've got to adjust this too, because if you try to move that wheel back, it'll either cock that or put tension on it and technically put the brakes on it. I don't know. But I'm going to take a minute, clean this axle up, clean all the pieces that I can up, so it definitely goes together and comes back apart eventually a lot nicer than it did this time. And be back shortly for the reassembly. Now I have everything cleaned up the best I could. I realized my tub of wheel bearing grease is out in the trailer, which is down back. Probably the doors on it are froze, so I'm not going down there to dig that out. So I know it's not the right thing to use, but it's better than nothing. I'm just going to put some anti-seize on this bolt for now. Get some grease at a later date. Something to help it out a little bit here. Okay. Now we've got this guy, which I believe they're tapered I believe they were this way. Yeah, probably. Gonna be looking like the Tin Man here soon. So we've got that. We got this bushing, which must be goes that way. Like I said, we're all learning together. But I think before that, I'm gonna try to get this on here. We might get it, or we might have to go to a commercial break for some cussing. Well, looks like she's gonna go fairly easy. Well, now I gotta get this bushing in here though. Oh. Back in your groove there. This brake drum has a groove in it, and there's a pin welded onto the frame, so the brake can't rotate or anything, which makes sense. When I did the front one, when I put it back together, I didn't have that pin in the groove, and it didn't take me long to figure out. But now, give it a little tappy, probably in the camera. Okay. Put that where it needs to be. This one fell over here. Should probably do a little better job cleaning those up, but I think this bike's going to be coming back apart soon because I'd like to redo it. I'd like to paint the frame and go through it and fix all the stuff, little things that's wrong with it. It's rideable, but just things that need attention. Like a new chain, wheel bearings, tires, just, I don't know, stuff to make it better, I'll say. I'm hoping we didn't screw up the end of this nut or bolt. Alright, now I got the chain all put back on, and I think, I haven't looked it up, but I think you want this loose. Get your chain where it needs to be, tighten everything down, and then adjust this to it. I could be wrong, I don't know. I'll have to look it up and see the proper procedure, but that would be my opinion on the matter. But for right now, the chain is straight, the wheel's straight, it spins straight. So I think, well, the chain's decent. We'll tighten it up a little bit more. And yeah, there is notches on the side here. I'll try the third notch. And this is pretty close. No, that is extremely tight. So we'll back that off to just before the notch. Notches are obviously on there so that you can tell if the wheel's straight or not. That's not terrible. And that's just before the third notch on both sides. She still spins. You can tell it is binding a little bit, but I can tell right now it's in those new brake shoes. But now that that's good and tight, we'll take this and try to tighten it up again. Make sure it doesn't slide. Good. Good. There we go. Let's see if we can Yep. She stops, so that's good. Now, the chain, wheel bearings, all that stuff, it really needs to be replaced. And I would really like to go through this bike and fix all the little things that aren't quite perfect. But I have some kids this weekend that want to ride this just out in the yard. So it's good enough for now. It is what it is. This chain might be a little tight actually. And I think it might be a little tight. But we've popped it in gear now. But yeah, like I said, I'd like to strip this bike right down this winter and go right through it and make it a, you know, 100% again. But got kids that want to ride it this weekend, and it's perfect for that. So we'll leave it alone for now and get this mess cleaned up, and then, like I said earlier, start tearing into those. I don't know. It's very frustrating not being able to find motors for them for a decent price, but whatever. I get it. People want to make their money back or part them out, and a bike is no good with no motor in it, so whatever, other than for parts. But what blows my mind is I found a couple motors for both bikes, and then you get reading the description and they're parting the motor out. And I get it, I understand. If I just wanted a side cover, I'm not gonna buy the whole motor, but well, I probably would. That way you got parts. But either way, we'll tear into them, kind of check out bearings and everything, see exactly what it all needs. I have no idea on that 450 as far as linkage and swing arm and shock bearings and all that jazz, but I know the 250, the one that I was racing, I don't know if it's a shock bearing or one of the linkage bearings, but something's got some play down there we're gonna have to replace and pay some attention to. But either way, get this mess cleaned up and start tearing into them. There she is, guys, all stripped down. Got a pile of parts, well, everywhere. Still got to take that wishbone off. We got one more bolt in there, but as I expected, you can see all those roller bearings just kind of fell out. Kind of figured that was the condition they were in, and you can see here. Well, I guess it's hard to see, but on this one, still hard to see. But they're all junk. They're all shot, need to be replaced. Crazy thing to me is the stem bearing, the grease. It looks like it's factory grease. The bearings are good, which, I mean, they're good for a long time, but if you don't maintenance them, they sometimes go bad. I don't know. But anyways, that's cool. But yeah, it's getting late. I gotta work tomorrow, unfortunately. But next step is to get the rest of that wishbone off of there, start cleaning the chassis up, and order some bearings and stuff, and start putting it back together. But I don't know. We've got enough stuff to keep us busy for a while, I guess. But yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, please hit that subscribe button, like button, throw a comment in there. I'm kind of wondering, I'd kind of like to do this black, but I don't want to send it off to get powder coated. I don't know if you can sand that down and there's some sort of a paint or whatever you can do it with. I'm not sure. They won't wear off immediately, but aluminum's funny. Either way, I'm gonna do this bike and that bike the same, so I think with the vision I got for them, they're gonna look pretty good. But yeah, anyways, thanks for joining me, and I hope you stick around and we go on more bike building adventures. Take care, guys.